Silence is golden. Now, you've probably heard this phrase banded around the industry before. Lots of people say it because it's so true. And so with holding that silence, I see this when I'm sat in the back of lessons being probably one of the hardest things that people do. And we have some sort of techniques that you can use to try and help you. And I want to give you some tips of how do we hold that silence? How do we let the pupils have the space to answer the great question you've just asked? And I see this, you ask a brilliant question, you give them half a second, and then you jump in with another question to clarify what you meant. But actually, if you've asked a good question, they should be thinking about it. And so you should be giving them time to really sort of kind of pause, hold that silence, let them be the one that breaks the silence. So what I would say here is some tips of how to do this. If you're struggling to hold that silence and you want to jump in, how can we do it? Have a sip of water. That's a great way. Ask the question, have a sip of water. It stops you jumping in. The other thing, if you're really struggling with this, and get your pupils involved in this. I've done this before with PDIs, and it works a treat, is have a pen, and the only person allowed to do talking is the one holding the pen. So what I want you to do is ask the question, so you're holding the pen, pass it over to your pupil. Now, you aren't allowed to talk until they give you that pen back, because that indicates that they are done. They've answered your question, they've thought about it, and they're like, yeah, I've finished now. Pass the pen over, and then chuck another question at them, give them the pen. Really great way of training yourself to sort of hold that silence and listen to the answers, because if you haven't got the pen, you're not talking, so you might as well be listening.